Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Admire Sandelichawuk. A lot of us are asking ourselves a question when these community leaders in townships are going around the shops owned by these foreign nationals, your Pakistans, your Somalians, checking the expiry dates of foods, checking the quality of the food that they sell, and whether these are not counterfeit products and so on. But we know that a lot of these things were led by, for example, in Soweto, by Operation Dudula. And we know that they once had a very active and popular leader, Nhlanhla. Now the question is, where is Nhlanhla? Nhlanhla has recently been seen defending these shops. And the way he became famous in South Africa was when he went to defend the famous Maponya Mall in Soweto, when there was civil unrest where people were looting all other shopping centers and malls in some parts of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. And Nhlanhla took a stand and went to protect Maponya Mall. But we know that he is someone who was very and has been very vocal on the issue of addressing the problems caused by foreign nationals, saying that they must leave South Africa and they must leave South Africa now. But there was a point when he announced that he is no longer the leader of Operation Dudula because Operation Dudula has lost its principles, and it is no longer representing the people of Soweto. So he left Operation Dudula, I think, to serve in Soweto Parliament, which was not that popular. And then we saw a lot of community leaders taking it upon themselves to address the issue of these shops that are owned by foreign nationals selling expired foods, selling counterfeit products, and so on, because there was an issue in Naledi that led to the death of 2 children. And then the community took it upon themselves to go around checking and closing all these shops where they find expired food, where they found that the person who sells sleep in that shop and things like that. And they addressed that issue on their own. And we saw recently political parties joining. We saw recently the EFF joining, some ANC politicians joining to work on this issue. And we were surprised to see Nhlanhla defending the very same people who he once took head on. So is Nhlanhla trying to come back to the spotlight, or is someone who will do anything for as long as he is paid to do it? I don't know. But he has been very quiet ever since the national shutdown of the EFF, where in the early hours he reported that there was a bombing at his family home. And the police ran there to find out that there was never a bombing. Maybe tried to distract the national shutdown of the EFF. But Nhlanhla is someone who was very active, and someone who brags that he doesn't believe that politics will ever solve the problems of South Africa, that the communities must rally behind their own leaders. They must elect their own leaders to represent them and to work with them, saying that we must support independence. But I think it was gunning down, it was gunning up for a position where he would be seen to be leading Soweto. He was very obsessed in leading Soweto, and a lot of people saw him for what he is, and then they rejected him, and he was nowhere to be found. Unless otherwise, if he was involved in something that has nothing to do with celebrity, or has nothing to do with someone who is popular. For example, the way he was all over the media addressing the issues that Dudula is solving and encouraging people in various communities to do exactly what Dudula is doing. He was not someone who looked like he really wanted to solve the problems of South Africa, but it was someone who looked like he wanted to be seen to be doing something. He wanted to be popular. And I think he nearly achieved that. But as soon as the people of Operation Dudula realized the other side of him, I think they got rid of him, and he was exposed for what he really were. But other than that, him coming back to defend the very same people who he attacked, I think it's very confusing. It is very confusing because whatever is doing now, Operation Dudula is doing the opposite. Operation Dudula still exists. It is not under the leadership of celebrities, but people who are on the ground, who are working, who are addressing the issues of the people of Soweto. So he came now to do the opposite. Maybe he wanted to distract them, or maybe he's employed or hired by these foreign nationals to neutralize whatever that is happening in South Africa. And that compromises the health and lives of South Africans, because we are the ones who consume the foods that have expired because they are affordable. We are the ones who consume these counterfeit goods because we don't have time to check them. For as long as they are affordable, we get to buy and use them. So a person of Nhlanhla's caliber is someone who I think we should be careful of or careful about, because they will represent anything that will put money in their pocket. That is how it looks now, because he was irrelevant and he's coming back to the picture, but still no one is taking him serious. And another thing is that I'm surprised to see all these politicians now joining the struggle of the people. They want to hijack the struggle of the people, because the only political party that is known for that is the Patriotic Alliance. Patriotic Alliance is the only political party that doesn't like foreigners. It's the only political party that defends the hijacking of buildings in Gauteng. It is the only political party that addresses the issue of illegal foreigners and addresses the issues of crimes that are committed by foreigners. So now their struggle is being hijacked, because we know that we are in a season where all politicians will want to be seen to be doing something, to be contributing something back into their communities or the communities, so that they can at least win 1 or 2 votes in all these corners of South Africa. So Nhlanhla is no more. Big up to all the community leaders who have took up and make it for themselves and put their lives on the line to defend the children of the townships, to defend the children of the villages who consume these counterfeit products, who consume these expired foods and anything else in terms of snacks and everything that these Pakistans and your Somalis do not consume themselves. So this is a matter that needs to be addressed regardless of political affiliation. We must come together and address this issue. And if we close these spaza shops, we must have an alternative, because there is a problem in South Africa where township economy is slowly being transferred into the hands of monopoly, where people are driven to go to the malls and support these big chains and retailers, which are owned by people who doesn't give back to the community that much. And when we close these shops, I am of the view that we must have an alternative to give them back to the hands of black people and educate them on business. This is Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Admas Andile Jauke. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let us grow together. Thank you.